We're here to talk today. We're going to start about the Vitocal 100S and 200S ductless heat pumps. These are air-to-air heat pumps using R454B refrigerant. So what we're going to be talking about in this presentation here are the 100S and 200S single zone and multi-zone ductless systems. So to be clear, that everything in this presentation are ductless air-to-air heat pumps using the R454B refrigerant. And we're going to talk about why the Vitocal ductless heat pump systems are ideal for air-to-air space heating and cooling in applications from residential up to even light commercial. So I'm sure this is very familiar information to everyone, but just kind of a setting, the level setting. What this product is an air-to-air heat pump. You may be familiar with our air-to-water heat pump. This operates similarly, moving heat through the air. So in heating mode, you're taking heat from the outdoor air and putting it indoors. In cooling mode, you're pulling the heat from the indoors and moving it outdoors. So this is an air-to-air heat pump, the first for Viessmann in North America. Not a net new product. You're likely familiar about it, but we have that animation kind of to talk to that. So let me continue forward here. The specific ductless air-to-air heat pump systems in the Vitocal lineup that we're talking about today are going to be the single zone ductless. And within that single zone ductless lineup is a light commercial single zone ductless, so for larger capacities. And in addition to single zone, we have multi-zone ductless. So all of those different combinations are possible with the product shown to the right, outdoor units, indoor units, and we have a range of both to meet many applications. So the benefits of the single zone and multi-zone ductless systems are going to be high efficiencies. That's one of the biggest things with these ductless systems, the efficiencies you're able to achieve, the energy savings that you're able to pass along. So we're seeing upwards of 27 plus SEER2. We have Energy Star certifications, cold climate ratings. All of that is possible through the inverter technology of these systems. Along with the high efficiency performance, the refrigerant itself is a high efficiency and low impact refrigerant, the new R454B refrigerant. It offers 75% reduction in global warming potential versus the outgoing refrigerant with similar performance specifications. So same great performance, less impact on the environment. These ductless systems are known for their quiet operation. So on the outdoor unit, you can be as low as a refrigerator running. And the indoor unit, it's referred to often as whisper quiet. So there's different fan modes. Obviously, the slower fan mode, lower noise. And because we have single zone, multi-zone, and they're ductless, that allows for the flexible installation and application of these systems where there is no ductwork. Currently, no ductwork can be there, or there is no desire for ductwork. And with that, we're able to deliver that comfort in different ways, in different for different styles or different applications with all the different indoor units that we have. Last but not least is the performance of the systems. They are rated for high heat for cold climate applications with heating operation down to negative 22 degrees Fahrenheit and capacity at 5 degrees, in some cases above 100%, but up to 100% depending on which unit you're selecting. So the advantages of ductless, not to spend too much time on this, likely familiar with it, but you're able to bring more complete control of comfort to targeted areas or multiple zones where previously this has not been possible. So rooms that are too hot, rooms that are too cold, areas that had no ductwork or cooling or heating previously, areas that only had heating. you're now able to target those areas more effectively with ductless. Because of the minimal installation of ductless, often that results in less labor, less materials, shorter installation time, and the variable speed of the indoor unit as well as the outdoor unit working together allows modulation. So rather than a single stage or a two-stage operation of an on and off, you're able to more precisely maintain that temperature instead of overshooting or undershooting. So you're able to offer better energy efficiency, better comfort, better savings to the customer, to the end user. So starting off with the outdoor units for the ductless system, the Vitocal 100S and 200S. So what is Vitocal 100S, 200S? What does that mean? So to touch on the nomenclature, this will help set the stage. So Vitocal is our heat pump product line name. So we have Vitocal air to water, Vitocal air to air. The 100S is for single zone. The 200 is for multi-zone. The S is because it's a split system with outdoor and indoor components. The next big call out is on the model number. D5C is going to be the starting model for all outdoor units. That lets you know it's a ductless R454B outdoor unit. In my mind, I say D5C, D5 condenser, but you'll see that means clearly that this is an outdoor unit when you see that. The next letter will call out whether it's a single zone residential, single zone light commercial, or a multi-zone outdoor unit. Depending on the series will be the next two letters, but at this point, all of the series names are HA. H for heat pump, but not to skip over that H for heat pump, but the most important is really going to be the D5C, the letter after, and then your number here, which is your BTU. So with that information, you can say, all right, this is a 454B outdoor unit. S, it's residential, 12K. You know it's a 12,000 BTU single zone residential outdoor unit. Of course, you're not going to need to remember this. It's all in the documentation as well as the resources. But to have a better understanding of the model nomenclature, this is useful. So starting off with the single zone ductless lineup. So single zone is 1-to-1. All of the single and multi-zone consist of an outdoor unit and at least one indoor unit. With the single zone, it is a 1 outdoor unit to 1 indoor unit, hence the word single zone. The outdoor unit is what drives the capacity of the system. So the outdoor unit is available between 6 and 33,000 BTU. As you can see here, the model number is referred to as what we saw before, D5C. Here's an outdoor unit. S, this is the single zone residential. And based on your capacity size, the model would vary. From there, you selected your outdoor unit. Now you can select your indoor unit. So all of these indoor units are compatible with our 1-to-1 single zone. We have a high wall, floor console, floor/under ceiling console, 4-way cassette, 1-way cassette, slim ducted units, both in low static and high static, as well as a multi-position air handler. So with these three indoor units being a ducted indoor unit, so we actually have the ability to have ducted ductless as well. A little bit more information on this single zone outdoor unit. So again, 6 to 33,000 BTU. You're going to get your highest efficiencies on these 1-to-1 residential single zone, up to 27.5 SEER, up to 100% capacity at 5 degrees Fahrenheit. So we achieve the cold climate requirements. And on that subject, our cooling and heating operating range is down to negative 22 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're able to perform in those low ambient conditions, partly due to the included base pan and crankcase heater that's built into all of these outdoor units. So you'll see there's a few things that kind of repeat amongst all of these outdoor units as standard features, such as anti-corrosion hydrophilic coated coil fins, refrigerant leak detection. As this is an R454B product, all of these products have refrigerant leak detection built in, as well as quiet outdoor sound levels. The residential warranty is 10 years. And the model numbers for this single zone outdoor unit are below for reference. However, again, there's no requirement to memorize all of this. We have the 6 to 33,000, D5C outdoor unit, S for single zone residential. So I've been talking about that residential single zone. What that refers to is 6,000 to 33,000 BTU in a single zone. In the event that you have a single zone space that needs above 33,000 BTU, we have the light commercial single zone ductless lineup. This goes from 36,000 to, it's listed as 60,000, but actual is 58,000. So 3, 4, and almost 5 tons, 1-to-1 outdoor unit to indoor unit. So same concept as the previous single zone. The only difference being the larger capacity, and that there is a caveat to make sure that you're matching light commercial indoor units to light commercial outdoor units. The light commercial units have a separate communication wire compared to the residential ductless. So you just need to make sure that you're choosing the right indoor unit for your outdoor unit, which is all listed in the documentation, as well as our compatibility matrix. But that's just something to call out. The light commercial outdoor units need to be with the light commercial indoor units, and there are a more limited selection of indoor units that are for light commercial. So that'll be the 4-way cassette, the slim ducted, the floor/under ceiling, and the 4-way multi-position air handler. So on the light commercial, 3 to 5 tons, still high efficiency, although not as high efficiency as the residential capacities. So with the light commercial, what you gain, part of it is, aside from the larger capacities, you're able to achieve longer line set lengths. So from indoor unit to outdoor unit, you can have up to 246 feet of line set and up to 98 feet of rise, so above or below the outdoor unit. You achieve higher capacity with these light commercial units. You get larger coils. The fans outdoors move more air for that higher capacity versus the residential applications. However, you're still getting that heating and cooling operating range down to -22 degrees Fahrenheit. Still get the base pan and crankcase heater, coated coils, quiet outdoor operation, refrigerant leak detection. One call out though is on non-residential applications. So for commercial use, the warranty is 7 years. And there are only 3 models of this. So as I called out before, the D5C is your outdoor. And you see the difference here is with the L, you already know you're at the light commercial outdoor unit, also 36, 48, and 58. So we talked about the 1-to-1, the single zone systems, if you will. So if you have the requirement for multiple zones off of one outdoor unit, that's when you're going to step up to the 200S, the multi-zone. So same concept of an outdoor unit pairing with an indoor unit, the difference being that the outdoor unit has multiple connection points for up to 6 zones per outdoor unit. So we have 18,000 up to 55,000 BTU available on these multi-zone. The indoor units are the same as what's used on the single zone residential. So that's something to call out, to note that there are not like special high walls or any special indoor units dedicated to multi-zone. So that's easy to maintain, you know, whether you're keeping stock or ordering systems, preparing systems, just to know that it's all the same between single and multi-zone, with the exception of the light commercial. So the multi-zone outdoor unit shown here visually, if you're standing far away from it, you're not going to see much difference than a single zone. But when you get closer, you'll notice there's multiple connection points as shown below. So there is not a branch box on our multi-zones. Everything lands back at the outdoor unit. So as mentioned before, 18 to 55,000 BTU range, up to 6 zones. We'll touch on the next slide how many zones for each capacity. And that's also listed in the product information, the installation manual, the product data, as far as compatibility and application options. Still high efficiency, very high efficiency, up to 25 SEER2. And actually on the 30,000 and 48,000 BTU models, you can achieve over 100% capacity at 5 degrees Fahrenheit. Cooling and heating operation range still down to negative 22 degrees Fahrenheit. And that actually, for cooling, what that means, I haven't fully called that out yet, is that you're able to achieve low ambient cooling as well. So if you require cooling in a space, say year round, this may be an option for that. Again, base pan heater, crankcase heater, coated coils, refrigerant leak detection, and a 10-year warranty. Those are standard on these outdoor units. And your model number is below. So D5C, you're still on an outdoor unit for 454B, but now it's M. So that's multi-zone. So we had S for single zone, residential, L for light commercial single zone, and M for multi-zone. All of these are high heat models, and your BTUs are down there. The C, D, E, and F are how many units that the maximum zones per outdoor unit, which would bring me to this next slide. So for the 18,000 BTU, we're up to 3 zones, 4 zones. The 30 and 36,000 BTU are up to 5 zones, and the 48 and the 60,000 are up to 6 zones. So that is an improvement over the 410A product, which capped out at 5 zones for 48,000 BTU. We now have an additional capacity as well as additional zone ability. And what's shown below is a feature that's built into the product, not encouraging necessarily bad behavior, but if in a multi-zone application there is a miswiring or mispiping, there is a corrective feature built in where the unit can detect the correct indoor unit and switch communication as needed. It's not going to fix, major installation errors, but that is a feature that improves the installation. Of course, the recommendation is to follow the installation practices and wire and pipe correctly. So standard features on all of the outdoor units are going to be, as you can see, there's a lot of them. So for comfort, we have auto restart, auto changeover. So if there's a power interruption or the unit is shut on and off, it will resume to its previous set point. And there's an auto mode selectable at the indoor unit for heat cool switchover. They all come with the crankcase heater and the base pan heater, as well as a host of safeties at the outdoor unit based on sensor readings, as well as pressure, temperature, all of that to kind of protect the outdoor unit and the system. The energy savings, of course, you can provide with the inverter-driven compressor. Largely, that's where a lot of the benefits coming from. There is a heating setback mode built in for applications where you want to keep temperature above freezing, but without actually heating the space, and using excess energy for that. And the units also, of course, come in with built-in diagnostics and the liquid line pressure taps for if you need to use any work on the refrigerant system. So that was all the outdoor units. So we went over single zone and multi-zone, the range of capacities, common features. Now we're going to go into the indoor units.
Guys, just before we fire up here, we just want to give everyone a second here to kind of take all that in and let us know if we have any questions at all about what we've covered so far for the 100, 200S ductless. So if you do, please fire them into the Q&A box there, and we can answer them live here. I'm also going to share a link in the webinar chat. I'm going to make the chat open to everyone. And I'm just going to share this link, and please sign up for it. It's a form to be notified about our future ductless and ducted training opportunities. So I'm just going to put that in there right now. I'll give you guys a second to think if you have any questions about the information we reviewed so far, and then we can continue on here. But please have a look at that form and fill it out if you're interested in any future ductless and ducted training opportunities. I just put that in the chat there to everyone. Doesn't look like we've got any questions so far. We'll just give you another 10 or 15 seconds here. Okay, well, as we go through the next presentation, please put your questions in the Q&A there, and we can answer them as quick as possible. So I don't see any questions there right now, so we'll continue on. And I'll pass it back to Alejandro.
Thank you. So we went over the ductless outdoor units, and that's half of the equation of a ductless system. So the other half is the indoor units. So similar to the outdoor units, we're going to touch base on the nomenclature of these units. So Vitocal IND is going to be your indoor unit prefix. And then you, based on what type of indoor unit, would be the following letter. So this example is H for high wall. So I already know when I see Vitocal IND H, that's going to be a high wall. The following model number uses the similar layout of the outdoor unit with some key differences for the indoor unit. So the biggest being D5F instead of D5C. So if you see a D5F, you know that's an indoor unit, 454B. So F for fan coil, that's the way I remember it. So D5F, you know that's an indoor unit. The next letter is going to be letting you know if it's single zone, or I'm sorry, they're all single zone, multi-zone compatible, but is it residential or is it light commercial? So the bulk of these indoor units are going to be that S for residential, meaning that they're for use with single zone or multi-zone. There will be the L indoor units, which are paired directly with the light commercial outdoor units, the designed for light commercial use. The series will be what differs between, say, a high wall, a floor console, an air handler. That's where you're going to have those two letters differ after the S. H for heat pump, and then going to the actual capacity of the indoor unit, which in most cases for single zone is going to match exactly the outdoor unit. For multi-zone, it's a combination adding up to the capacity of the outdoor unit. So as I mentioned before, the indoor units are all compatible with single zone or multi-zone outdoor units, with the exception of the light commercial. So as we go through all these indoor unit types, there's a few different slides. So to kind of minimize redundancy and just call out all the common features in the front end, all of the indoor units are single and multi-zone compatible. They all have the same modes, basic modes of cool, heat, dry, which is dehumidification, fan, and auto. So as mentioned with that dry, you do have the humidity control ability. It's not going to replace a dedicated dehumidifier, but it does allow you to control the humidity in a space. Where louvers are present, you have louver control. We have the auto changeover, auto restart function. For units that are concealed or concealed within the ceiling or walls, there are included condensate pumps as needed. Standard with all of these indoor units are the wireless controllers, which allow for a follow me function that essentially turns the remote control into your thermostat, senses the temperature at the remote. Mentioned previously, we have the heating setback mode that's on all of these units. That allows you to maintain that low heating temperature for when the space is perhaps not occupied, or just to maintain a minimum temperature. Quiet indoor operation. All the coils are coded indoor and outdoor. All of the indoor units come with the washable filters for easy maintenance, as well as the refrigerant leak detection sensors. And that is hand in hand with the R454B, again, achieving 75% reduction in global warming potential. So that new refrigerant, with that comes the refrigerant leak detection. So starting off with the Vitocal INDH high wall, we have sizes from 6,000 to 33,000 BTU. Again, standard modes of cool, heat, dry, fan, and auto. The high wall itself, some indoor units have additional functions compared to others. So in this case, we have turbo mode, sleep mode, eco mode. The fan speeds on the high wall fully modulate. So that's what gives you very quiet operation, but also the ability to go into the turbo mode for rapid heating or cooling. You have louver control up, down, and left and right, fixed or swing. There's an occupancy sensor built in. So there are a few functions that use that occupancy sensor. It can blow away from you, or you can have it blow towards you. If the room is unoccupied for a period of, I believe, 30 minutes or longer, it can allow the system to ramp down and then ramp back up when occupancy is detected, again, to save energy. So easily removable washable filter. Quiet indoor operation. This is your most common and one of the quietest indoor units, if not the quietest. And coated coils. The big thing with this high wall is the easy maintenance and serviceability. So I have an image and a little animation to show what I'm referring to. The wireless controller is standard on all of these indoor units. The units that are exposed are able to be reached by the IR of the thermostat of the remote do not come with the wired controller. That is an optional accessory. There are some indoor units that come with the wired controller as well. So this is what I'm referring to here. So this high wall has an easy to remove blower assembly. You're able to remove the entire assembly in, like, I don't want to make any promises, but essentially a minute or two. It's a few clips, a screw. It's all easy to access, and you can pull out that entire assembly, giving you the ability to clean and service it. And I have a cool little animation in the next slide to show that. There are your model numbers down there. D5F for indoor unit. S, this is a singles, or this residential, not for light commercial use. And then this is the air handler, or a high wall, because it's a Vitocal INDH, and you have 6, 9, 12, 18, all the way to 33. So let's see if this should come through here. So this is showing. You got 2 clips at the top, 1 screw. That E-box is just easy to access, but you got 2 more clips, and you can pull out the entire assembly. That gives you access to the blower wheel, blower motor, the drain pan, the louvers, the louver motor. It's a really great, especially if you're trying to clean the blower wheel. You don't have to clean it in place, creating potentially a mess in the space. And the electronics are front and center here, easy to access. So the high wall is really optimized for longevity, for maintenance and service. That's the big call out on the high wall. On the 4-way cassette, we've got 9 to 48,000 BTU, with that 36 and 48 being the light commercial. The 4-way cassette allows for 360-degree airflow in a discrete installation up within the ceiling, so that grill panel is flush with the ceiling essentially. Same modes as we're going to see on all these indoor units. You have louver control. There is the potential for outdoor air intake with this unit. There's a knockout for that. built-in condensate lift pump. Again, quiet indoor operation, same features of the coated coil. One call out with this four-way cassette is to ensure that you have the proper ceiling grill panel as well. So this is ordered separately at this time. We're looking at potentially having a kit created, but based on the market, we know that it's already included separately. So just want to call out these part numbers here. So there's two grills, one for the 2x2 and one for the 3x3. These come standard with the wireless controller, optional for the wired, and your 5 sizes below with the 9 and 12,000 BTU being dip switch selectable capacity. Right. Similar to the four-way is the one-way. So this is available from 6,000 to 18,000 BTU with the 9K being through the 12K unit in a dip switch. This is a compact dimensions that can be installed, is designed to be installed between joists. Again, another one that is within the ceiling. So the installation, that grill panel will be flush with the ceiling, but it allows you to have more targeted airflow than the four-way. So for example, this can be installed in hallways or corners where a four-way would potentially have issues because of the four-way direction. You're able to have the same modes: cool, heat, dry, fan, auto, louver control, built-in condensate lift pump, same quiet operation, coated coils. All of the indoor units have those features. Again, standard wireless controller, optional wired controller, and you have 3 sizes, 6, 12, and 18, with the 9 and 12 being through the dip switch selection. There's another little animation kind of bringing that to life. So it's designed to fit in between those joist spaces. So next is the floor console, the INDF. So this floor console comes in 9, 12, and 16,000 BTUs. Standard modes. Call out on this one is it's only for floor/wall mounting. You'll see on the next slide, we have larger sizes that can do under ceiling as well. This is just for the floor wall mounting, that low application. So this is marketed as a good option for radiator or baseboard replacement, or where that's being used today. Similar concept. You have air discharge from the top and the bottom louver that's controllable. Quiet operation. Again, coated fins, anti-corrosion coated coil fins, and as well as the standard wireless with the optional wired controller. You have 3 models available of this chassis, the 9, 12, and 16,000. It's bigger brother, if you will. The INDF ceiling/floor console is available in 18 and 24,000 BTU for the residential applications, and then for light commercial, 36, 48, and 58,000. Same modes you're going to see on all these indoor units, but this is able to be mounted on the floor or under ceiling. However, it is not flush with the ceiling like a cassette, so that is something to call out. I have a small image that'll show at the bottom here. And this offers a wide, literally wide airflow. I mean, it's got a long, wide blower motor outlet there and louver control. So that's one of its, they call it 3D airflow. It allows a lot of airflow. And with that louver control, you can set fixed or swing. Quiet indoor operation, anti-corrosion coated coils, and there's an image showing that airflow. So both horizontally and vertically, depending on your application, you're able to spread the air in a wide throw with this unit. And standard is the wireless controller, optional is the wired controller. We have the model numbers below. So 18 to 48,000 BTU. So next, the next two slides are actually ducted indoor units, but made for ductless outdoor units. So sort of a hybrid approach. We have sizes from 6,000 all the way up to 58,000. The low static cuts off at 18,000. So from 6 to 18, and everything above that picks up in the high static territory. Same modes of cool, heat, dry, fan, and auto. These can be installed vertically or horizontally within a wall cavity or a ceiling cavity. And the high static options are available, as we mentioned, and that allows up to 0.8 inches of static. Rear or bottom return options, so you can set this unit up for a rear or bottom return, as well as outdoor intake, outside air intake as possible. These units come with a built-in condensate lift pump and provide quiet operation, as all of the indoor units do, coated coils. So this is one that comes standard with the wired controller and the wireless controller, as you're not going to see this unit once finished and installed. You'll need that wired controller to be able to control it. The wireless controller can control the wired controller. That makes sense. That wired controller is able to receive the signal from the wireless. And there are all your model numbers. So there are the 9K and the 12K is through the same chassis, dip switch selectable. The big call out here is if you're just looking at all these ducted, slim ducted model numbers, AK is for low static, HK is for high static. That's another call out specific to these slim ducted units. And the last indoor unit for ductless is the multi-position air handler. So that comes from 18,000 to 60,000 BTU. However, I'll call out that the 36 through 60, that is for the light commercial. A little more to come there on that. Standard modes, 4-way installation. The blower motor will adjust automatically, called automatic airflow technology, up to 0.8 inches of static. The cabinet is rated at less than 2% air leakage. Easy to maintain, has a washable filter. Up here in the corner is a diagnostic screen that'll give you status and or error codes, and you get quiet operation. There's also an accessory heater kit available. This comes standard with a wired controller and a wireless controller. And there are your model numbers for your residential, single or multi-zone. And your light commercial models are there below. So you see the L for light commercial. For multi-zone, this can be used to give you a hybrid system. So some ducted, some ductless. You are limited in multi-zone to a maximum of 36,000 BTU on the air handler. So benefits of ductless are the minimally intrusive installation. It's line set wiring, no ductwork required, no brazing required. You can do flare connections. For your consistent comforts provided by the inverter technology for stable temperature, less fluctuation. You have the ability to do heating or cooling, and cooling, not simultaneously, but for a single or multiple zones with different indoor units for all different applications. And we have capacities from 6 to 58,000 in single zone and up to 55,000 or 6 zones on the multi-zone. And the outdoor units are all up to potentially up to 75% smaller than traditional top discharge heat pumps. And they're all ready to go for cold climates with the crankcase and base pan heater and capacities upwards of 100+% at 5 degrees Fahrenheit. So for ductless, they're compact, they're quiet, they're extremely efficient, they're minimally invasive installation, but flexible to apply. And we have sizes for residential up to light commercial in some instances, with low ambient heating and cooling down to -22 degrees. So I will pause because that's ductless. Yeah. Next, we'll touch on ductless, or ducted, I'm sorry. So I'm not sure if there's questions.
Yeah, so we've got one or two little questions here for you, Alejandro.
Sure.
The first one I'm going to need a little bit of clarity on. He's asking about a phone app. Maybe he wants to rephrase that question a little better, or if you think you.
Well, I can say where we're at from that standpoint. There is a Wi-Fi accessory that will be available that can be paired to the indoor unit and allow a digital app on the phone. It is an existing app, an unbranded app, so it's not going to be through VCare or VGuide if that answers the question. But there will be potential for Wi-Fi connection either through a Wi-Fi kit, a wired controller that does include Wi-Fi on board, or there is a 24-volt accessory potential where you could wire, say, a Ecobee thermostat, something like that. So there are different ways to achieve wireless connectivity.
Okay, so existing app for Wi-Fi connections in the kit.
Yes, so the app will be it's in the instructions for that Wi-Fi kit. Yep. So you essentially it's a dongle that you plug in that allows Wi-Fi connection to the board, and in that documentation, it'll give you the app to download.
Okay. So our next question we got is: do you have any literature showing differentiating features of our Vitocal versus the competitors?
So we don't have something directly available, like published, but if that's something that you need or is a requirement in your market, I would say to work with your sales contact and we can work on creating that. I mean, we have USPs, it's just not something that we have actively published.
Our last question here is: I have a few engineers interested in this class. By chance, is there a recording I can send them, or is this a restricted to sign up only? We do these presentations and we do put them on the YouTube channel often. I'm not sure at what point this one will be up, but I think if you get in touch with Academy, we can give you some of these presentations like this. And all right, I think that's it. So I just got word there that's usually within 2 to 3 weeks that this presentation will be up on our YouTube channel. So if you've got some engineers interested in watching it, we can that'll be up there soon.
So let me make sure that I'm sharing the right. Are you seeing now the ducted slide?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So we went through ductless, and that took a little bit more time because of all the breadth of line. But at the end there, we started showing some ducted options, which are great for hybrid applications. We have that capability. But moving more into the ducted specific space, we have the Vitocal 100S ducted air-to-air heat pumps. So we're going to talk about the ducted heat pump solutions and why they're ideal for certain applications where central duct work is really the goal. Could be new construction, could be existing construction. So a lot simpler of a lineup than the ductless. This is the 100S ducted. So essentially what this is a one-to-one system similar to the single zone. However, this is designed and geared towards central ducted applications. So we have 18,000 to 60,000 BTU, so 1.5 to 5 tons. You put one indoor unit to one outdoor unit. We do have a standard heat as well as a high heat outdoor unit, depending on your requirements. And there are, for 454B, 3 indoor unit options currently available. The takeaway with this is it's ductless technology with unitary line sets. So kind of the best of both worlds, if you will. If you want to use a ducted outdoor ducted system, but get the benefits of ductless, this is a solution, an option for that. Gotta fix that. It's my mistake. So the features of this are high efficiency. So similar to the ductless, high efficiency, but you're not going to get the same ductless efficiency just due to the refrigerant line set difference, the indoor unit coil, the mass. So this is still a boost to efficiency. However, it's not that 27 plus SEER. The refrigerant is going to be R454B, same story there with the low GWP, so the highest reduction of GWP out of these new A2L refrigerants. Still very quiet operation. Outdoor, indoor unit as well. It's a quiet air handler. And this is more geared towards retrofit or new construction that uses the standard line sets, has planned for existing central ductwork, and is compatible with a 24-volt thermostat out of the box. So the best of both worlds, like I mentioned, this is a compact inverter unit, but for central ducted applications. And you still get, on the high heat models, I will add, you'll get down to -22 operating range, with the regular heat being -13. So talking a little bit more on why ducted, what does it mean, a little bit more. So it still has the same variable speed compressor as the ductless units. So you get that better energy efficiency, better control, quieter operation, smaller footprint, and that side discharge. But it's designed to pair with the central ducted system. So you're using the same line sets, whereas, yes, we had an air handler on the ductless, but you would need to run ductless line sets. So if there's an existing unit, that would mean running new line sets, which is not desired. This will allow you to use your existing line sets. It has the similar power setup as a ducted unit. So if using electric heat, you'll need your separate point of power at the indoor and the outdoor, as well as there's a built-in 24-volt interface in the indoor unit as well as the outdoor unit. So it gives you the flexibility. This system can be wired and communicate in different ways. So takeaway is you get the larger line sets that match up to what's there today, and you can use any thermostat essentially. And why ducted? Well, again, you can reuse what's there on your line set. If you have ductwork, you can reuse that. We have an air handler for full electric applications with a backup heating option for electric heat kit. We also have available later this year is going to be the case coil that will allow you to pair to a furnace. So for dual fuel applications. And then just a call out, what we're really comparing this to is a traditional heat pump central ducted system. So comparing the two, the footprint can be reduced greatly with these units. So Vitocal 100S, these are only 100S because there's only 1-to-1, still a split. So the difference, D5C, this is still an outdoor R454B unit, but the U is an addition, and that's where you know it's ducted. So D5CU, that's a ducted outdoor unit. H for high heat, R for standard heat, and then from there, the series is just kind of denoting the versions, which at this point is only one series name. H for heat pump, and then your BTUs at, for example, here, 18,000 BTU. So on the standard, the D5CUR for regular heat, we have up to 18.8 SEER2, still uses the conventional, so they're all going to use conventional line set. They all have built-in 24-volt interface. They're all quiet performance. The difference comes in with the standard and high heat is going to be your operating range. So you're down to -13 on the regular heat or the standard heat, and your capacities at 5 degrees are going to be closer to mid 60s to high 80s. So you're not going to be seeing that 100% capacity plus at 5 degrees, whereas the high heat, you will see that. There is also, though, a price difference. So if the customer is not seeing this as their primary source of heat or maybe a backup, they may see the standard heat as sufficient, depending on your climate. And then we have the high heat. So really what this is a boost in efficiency, and your capacity at 5 degrees is greatly increased. So between 30+% more than what you get with the standard heat. Same conventional line set, 24-volt interface, variable speed compressor, all that's the same. The difference is the performance and the internals that allows it to get that higher capacity at 5 degrees, and the operating range down to -22. And D5CU, that's a ducted outdoor unit. H, that's high heat. That's 18K. So I know right there, that's an 18K high heat ducted outdoor unit. So for the indoor unit selections, we have the multi-position air handler, which looks very similar to the ductless version, the difference being the line set, as well as the internals of the unit itself. So this multi-position air handler, you're going to want to make sure you use the right ducted unit for the ducted outdoor unit. Again, it's going to be all spelled out in the documentation, but that's a call out that they may look the same, but there is slight differences between this air handler and the air handler for ductless units. So we have 18 to 60,000 BTU. Standard modes of the indoor units. This is 4-way, so upflow, downflow, right or left. Aluminum coil has the automatic airflow blower of the same as the ductless. Same 2% air leakage of the cabinet. Again, all of the indoor units come with washable filters, and this one has a status display. So shown up here, it's kind of hard to see. There's a little panel with two self-tapper 5/16, or not self-tapper, panhead hex head screws. You take that off, and you've got display right there letting you know the status and or error code. Wireless remote is included for this in the event that you purchase a wired remote or wired controller separately, or just for use with the unit for setting the set point or servicing. The reason that the wired controller is not included with this unit is the 24-volt interface is built into this unit, and this is a central ducted application where we see a lot of the end users putting their own thermostat there. So you can plug up a 24-volt thermostat right to this air handler without any additional interfaces. So that's the reason why the wired controller on the ducted is not included, whereas the ductless, it is included. The electric heat kit is available from 5 to 25 kilowatts. That is the EHKMC model. So we have this option for both standard and high heat outdoor units. Next, we have actually the new for 454B modular multi-position air handler. So same capacities 18 through 60. However, there's only 3 chassis and the capacities are selectable through dip switch. So we have 24, 36, and 60,000 with the differences being selectable via dip switch. This indoor unit is a premium indoor unit that's only rated with the high heat outdoor unit. It is 100 or 240 volt power selectable, calling out that if you're using the electric heat kit, you will need a 240 volt power source. So that 120 volt allows you to swap this in where a furnace was before. So the dimensions of this are geared towards a furnace replacement. It's a little narrower than the previous unit. This filter rack accepts 1, 2, or 4-inch filters. And shown on the right is the unit's modularity, the ability for the unit to break down easily with these latches. So there's not a need to cut the unit or unscrew the unit or take all the components apart to get it up into an attic or down to a basement. That also plays into its installation flexibility. So you're able to actually do 6-way installation, and with some of those where you would previously have to move the coil or rearrange the coil, there's minimal requirement for that now, since you can actually put the blower motor above or below the coil. There's different ways to use those clips, if you will, the modularity of it. And also common features are the automatic airflow technology. So this actually lists up to 1-inch static pressure, but the same tightness of the cabinet. Again, standard wireless, optional wired. The 24-volt interface is built into this. One call out is that the electric heat kit is a D model versus a C model for the previous, because of the width of this cabinet is different. So this is the premium modular air handler, new for 454B. And coming later this year is the multi-position evaporator coil. So this comes factory installed with a refrigerant leak detection system, which includes a control interface and a wired controller. So that allows that full communication between the outdoor unit and the indoor unit, or in that case, the furnace. Cased coil for use with your furnace of choice, multi-position capability, and widths available 14.5, 17.5, 21, and 24.5. But there's more information coming out on these that will be available. So we expect by the end of the year to have these available. And I'm running out of time here. That's like the last slide, I promise. But we went over the air handler for ductless and ducted, and what are the differences? The difference is really with a ductless system, unless you're doing a one-to-one, you're limited to 36,000 BTU other than the light commercial applications. In a multi-zone, you can only have up to 2 air handlers, and that allows you no more other indoor units. So you can have a mix of ductless and ducted, which is a benefit of the ductless. However, you're not able to go above 3 tons of ducted. You would also need new line sets for that smaller diameter, and you have a requirement to insulate both line sets. The central ducted, you go up to 5 ton, and you have the ability to reuse your line sets, and you only need to insulate the suction line. So if you have a system that's already existing and the suction lines are already insulated only, this is going to be your ideal lineup here. So if you have a ducted dedicated system, this is the one for you. If you want to do a hybrid, then you can go into the ductless option as well. So benefits: traditional installation, so familiar, you can reuse your line sets, ductwork, thermostat, but you can provide an upgrade of performance and efficiency to an existing system. You have the flexibility of the different indoor unit choices, but you're still able to provide the consistent comfort from the inverter technology. So soft starts, less temperature swings, better energy savings, and while achieving footprint reduction at the outdoor unit as well. The cold climate performance is there, especially for the high heat. So the crankcase and base pan heater is still present on the regular standard heat, but doesn't have the full capacity at 5F like the high heat. So again, best of both worlds: compact, quiet, and efficient, familiar installation for central ducted systems, with the cooling and heating potential down to -22 degrees Fahrenheit. So that, I'm 2 minutes over, so I apologize, but that's where we are on the ducted systems.